the show, focus in the show today, and that is the reaction. I didn't think we'd be doing this, as a matter of fact, but the reaction of some folks to the Trump presidency. By the way, I saw somebody in karate who has Trump stuff, and we had to talk today. We had to talk. So those of us who are thrilled with the win are having a good time. That said, I want to temper ourselves. Like, Hamas already wants to have peace, and Ukraine and Russia wants to do it. It's like, everybody calm down, okay? First of all, I don't know if there's a Hamas office around anymore or anybody to negotiate with anymore. Who knows what there is? I don't think there is. I'm just saying, like, dude, let's not go right to walk on water. It's a great week because it's a great week.
Mm-hmm.
And all the right things happen.
But do you think people will calm down if the Trump presidency happens and he does stuff and things get better instead of worse, and the economy does better, and people can afford groceries and everybody's feeling good and all that stuff? I mean, nobody gets sent to camps and crime goes down. Will people shut up, or will they?
I'm glad you asked that question, Alice, because we're going into a deep dive, and let's analyze some of the people who seem to be displeased with what is happening with Trump.
Well, in the chat, someone says, thankfully, all the reactions to Trump's victory have been level-headed, well thought out, and not steeped in insanity.
Correct. Here's one lady. On a lot of these are libs of TikTok.
All I'm saying right now is that someone in the White House would better take their shot right now. And better not fucking miss. My doors are open for you if you need a safe house.
If I would suggest nobody in the White House do that. I don't trust her ability to operate a functional safe house or your ability to get out of there. Also, Trump's not in that building yet. Not to help you.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so there was a bunch of those. There were a bunch of those people who are just lost their stuff. This is NYC. This is from Cassia Kiva, and an NYC law student just sent me this video of this Marine veteran classmate shouting down their professor today after his half-hour anti-Trump rant about the election.
Fucking morning, I watched a fucking plane go right into a fucking building. I spent weeks bagging body parts and burned steel. Everyone got along. Everyone cared about each other. Brother, you're gonna be all right. Sister, you're gonna be all right. You all wanna engage in this motherfucking division shit, and you all motherfuckers wanna talk about division and inclusion and diversity and all that shit. You're all full of shit. That ain't diversity, that ain't inclusion, motherfucker. First inclusion is embracing your fellow person. You should go say embrace your fellow man. Embrace your fellow man. Today's embrace your fellow person. Like the ironworker said, treat people well. The fuck, man?
All right, well, I guess I'll just be leaving the swears in this one. This is another woman, and this I like. This I hope they do, actually.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is there's a blue bracelet that we need to wear, because I want to make sure that nobody ever thinks that I am one of the apparently majority of white women who voted for Donald Trump. I do not want you ever to think that I was one of them. So, is there a particular bracelet? Do we just make it ourselves?
Do you remember the safety pins?
Let me know.
No.
Send me a link. What do we do? Where do I get said bracelet? Or
don't you remember last time they all wore safety pins to show that they were a safe person?
No. Oh, no, that's great.
Which is perfect, because that's like it.
I remember they didn't want to stop wearing masks because people might think they were MAGA.
No, but this was before that. This, I think, was when he was first elected. But yeah, it was like a whole thing. And then I think somebody decided that it was also problematic.
Or am I just making it myself?
Okay, so she's doing bracelets, blue bracelets, because she doesn't want people to think that she would ever be one of the people that voted for Trump. I can tell you this. I think that you can tell a emotionally fraught non-Trump voter from a mile away now. So I would say, lady, we know who you are already.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
can
this
tell.
is from Vox. In the wake of Donald Trump's presidential victory, the safety pin has emerged as a symbol of unity, a way for people, regardless of their politics, to show that they are allies and do not stand for the kind of violence
Oh,
and
God.
abuse that has emerged and been reported since Trump was elected last
Wow,
week.
that's nostalgia.
Wearing a safety pin began as a gesture of kindness, but some people also see it as performative or slacktivism, arguing it allows people to pat themselves on the back without actually trying to fix the problems they say are important.
Oh, very nice. Safety pins. Dr. Randall, this is Libs of Talk. Dr. Randall Heskett has an institute in Colorado which offers courses. He's much better and smarter than you because he's educated and has 3 master's degrees and a PhD.
Hey, I'm in Walmart looking for a battery charger, and I happen to wear my Harris hat today, and people are giving me the dirtiest looks. Then the guy who was helping me at Walmart gave me the dirtiest looks and made a snide remark, and I said, sir, I have 3 masters and a PhD and a published book on politics. I know a little bit about politics. Then he didn't treat me very well after that.
Oh,
So
wow.
I went down the
What didn't happen, by the way?
Any of this?
Well, correct.
street to Jack's and got a battery charger. I need to tell you that these people that are giving the dirty looks are uneducated and they're savages. 54%
Savages, uneducated savages. It's fantastic.
of American adults read at less than a 6th grade level, and I feel like this is a valid statistic to share right now. So don't allow them to intimidate you with their ignorance. If you are educated and voted for the right people, you have no apology.
He has 3 master's degrees and a PhD, Alice.
Wow.
And he's also mentally a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
He's just like our 6-year-old who cried
Well,
because
yeah.
Trump voted because Harris won Massachusetts.
And
he
he
is
said
right
we
there.
have to live in Kamala land. That's where these people all are. And by the way, doesn't it just show the quality of our university system
Oh,
in
absolutely.
the United States?
Including-
Because I definitely, all these universities doing their like safe spaces and coloring books to comfort everybody and like
Yes.
crying and hugging.
Harvard
Somebody
canceled
told
classes, by the way.
me cancel classes. Yeah, someone told me that their daughters at Holy Cross and all the students were crying and hugging each other
Mhm.
today, and like the whole campus was in mourning. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to defund these freaking universities. None of these like DEI people and all this stuff would have jobs.
No.
None of this would be funded if we didn't dump thousands and thousands of dollars per student per year in student loans into these college campuses.
Totally right.
That then Biden forgives because it doesn't hurt him if we all have to pay for everyone's college education. So that's the only reason these things exist. And when they put like Corey DeAngelis or somebody in charge of the Department of Education and defund the entire thing, and all the loans are then just on merit, and the universities have to figure themselves out.
You know, actually, who would be great in the Department of Education?
Who?
Peter Thiel. Remember he had that program like 15
Yeah,
years ago?
yeah, to pay people not to go to college
Yeah.
who could be going to college to go right into working on cool projects and stuff. Yeah. No, we need and it's so the way that they've done this is they've so dumbed down the university education system and dragged in people who just shouldn't be there at all, and then make them think they're smart and waste their time filling their minds with all sorts of activist garbage. Like, it's the biggest waste of money.
Well, yeah, and with that college guy with all the degrees who yelled at the people at Walmart.
Mhm.
So the person at Walmart says, "Hey, too bad your candidate lost." Snicker, snicker. And he said, "Just so you know, I'm better than you."
Right.
That was his response. Because I have many, many degrees, just so you know. It's incredible.
I know. Can you guys try to not be the stereotype of the elite coastal person who hates
Here's another-
everybody else?
Here's another lady. A couple of these women who have gone insane,
You like.
I am down for. Yes.
I just woke up and I'm still processing, but I just want to.
You know, let me tell you something. When I was a young man,
Mm-hmm.
like in my 20s, we would go out till 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And my rule was back then that I needed to have 3 hours of sleep. That's what I needed, because we'd be out and plastered, and then so 3 a.m. and then I could wake up maybe at 5:40 or right like close to 3 hours of sleep or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd go run onto the train in the Green Line, and then take the green line into town, take the red line into Cambridge, put on my Bellman Dorman valet uniform, whatever it was going to be, started work, took the train back or ran back home, slept for 45 minutes. My boys would then come over with alcohol, and cigarettes, and we'd smoke and drink, and then go out again, and then go out to these bars and clubs, etc., trying in vain to get laid. At some point, usually resorting to just finishing half-finished drinks at the bars because we were out of money. And then repeat. And then repeat. And then repeat. And then repeat. And then eventually, after like my 45,000th attempt at trying to hook up, eventually I got a girlfriend that, like, there was
So
no...
when Bill Clinton won in 96, how long did it take you to process?
Right. I had no time to process. We didn't know that we needed to process stuff. We just did a bunch of stuff. Very interesting, though, that the Bill Clinton effect was very interesting. Once this Lewinsky scandal hit, the amount of Lewinsky's being thrown around went through the roof.
Wow.
Through the roof. It was very interesting time. I also noticed that right around that time, the flashing increased, like by whatever. It was like a thing. I don't know.
Wow.
To issue a formal announcement to everybody in my life that I have now joined the 4B movement. That's for one. Secondly, the first question I'm asking everybody in my life from this moment forward, who did you vote for? If I get anything aside from Kamala, get the fuck out of my face. I am done.
Well, I like how she feels like she has to make a press statement.
I was thinking that too yesterday. Like, no one cares. And we know people like this. Everybody felt the need to immediately go on Facebook or TikTok or Twitter or whatever, like depending on your age and demo, and like put out there how they feel about the election. I've avoided saying anything, but really, this is too...
But the clamoring for me to speak on this topic is grown too loud. So
everybody was waiting for a statement from the soccer mom in Melrose to know where we just need to know where you stand on Trump versus Kamala. Do you find this to be an acceptable situation? Will you be sleeping with men now or not?
That's the 4B thing is now. They've cut off sex.
It's like no dating, no sex, no marriage, no kids.
Which is kind of like wonderful self-sorting, isn't it?
No, I guess so. I won't date you.
By the way, let me tell you something. Going back to 1995, I did not have much game, or I had no game. But if this had happened when I was young, and she was at a bar next to me saying this, I get the feeling that we would have hung out a while together that night. I get the feeling I would have known exactly what to say.
Who would you have said you voted for?
Coach and Mamala. Damn right. And that fascist took over, and now Project 2025 means we're going to be in camp soon, so maybe you and I, honey, should have a drink here and, live it up while we can. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I so wish... Why did I settle down and get married? Somebody like she'd probably hook up with me now. If I said I was like a... Oh, if I could be like Coach Walls to her.
It's interesting because I do think there is this effect... Because the gender gap has gotten so big, if you are a liberal guy or a conservative woman, it gets really easy. Like the odds are much more in your favor, don't you think?
I mean, if big progressive guys are into that,
well,
I mean, do the young men who are 22 years old try to ply women with cocktails and impress them? And go immediately back.
I think they like sleeping with women still. Some of them, at least.
I don't know, because I know of too many young guys who like live in like Bedford, Massachusetts, and they're 22 because the city's too expensive, and it's like, what are you doing? But then again, I had no substance, so I was a wannabe cad. Was not successful enough to be a cad.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was a 0% gigolo.
Sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, it's okay.
But if you pretended to be a liberal feminist guy, it would definitely help your chances.
It would get you in close. Then again, I think I had a situation one time when I was that age where there was one lady, it was me and this other guy, and he was telling her, I think I told you this before, This was at the Red Hat. I happened to be in a suit because they cleaned us back of the house people up and made us go on sales blitz calls.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked pretty good. And met this woman. She was nice. She was probably like 21. We were all 21. And she was with her friend, who obviously was in the friend zone, obviously loved her. And this was near Christmas. And I remember him saying, Shanine, I just want to, this year, I don't want presents. I don't want any presents. So I'm going to tell my parents. I've already told my siblings that to just don't give me presents. I'm going to get anything I get, I'm going to give away. And like for the first time, I was like, man, you pussy. That is such a, and she was totally icked out by it. And anyway, we hung out for a little bit, but fairly uneventful. There's this weird thing I used to do, Alice. I was so self-conscious about my feet smelling bad that I showered out our house. Like,
What?
it's an odd.
Okay.
This is like back when I mean, you've got this version of
Maybe
me.
you should just get a therapist instead
Well,
of
I
having a podcast.
You've got this version of me, so like where I'm dead inside and outside, really. But like I used to care about like my breath, like that would be huge. like I mean, it matters. Like when you're a young man, you care about so much.
Honestly, it costs me $0 to cut people off. And in this economy, I'm taking all the free shit that I can get. So,
Wow, nobody's gonna get to sleep with a psycho for a while. Can you imagine that? She's melting down.
yeah. If you're not trying to... If you're not trying...
She had to make an edit.
If you're not trying to hoard Plan B and misoprostol with me and start an underground abortion railroad, then I don't... Get the fuck out of my face, honestly.
What is an underground abortion railroad?
She's hoarding Plan B and mifepristone as the abortion
Oh,
pill.
because we're going to take them all away. Project 2025.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So
see.
these
So we're
women
gonna
think they're
enslave them.
sticking it by saying they're not going to like have sex or have babies because the JD Vance and Donald Trump's plan is to put them all in Handmaid's Tale robes and sell them to rich men in Arlington, Virginia or somewhere, I guess. I don't know. But
I see. Yeah, and that is the plan.
God, I'm tired.
This could have been cutting room floor stuff. So her head is in her hands now.
Thanks.
Okay, there you go. Let's move to the next one here.
Quick question. So does anybody know how to find or hire a hitman or woman? Because we don't want to be sexist. So, but I think we could pull this off collectively. If you want to chip in, DM.
We go. Another everything's seems to be going fine. Here's a dude. This guy I like.
Okay, so since Trump won the election, we're cooked. Yup. I'm gonna be leaving the U.S. and I'm gonna be moving to Hawaii. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll update you guys.
I think we should free Hawaii.
Totally different federal laws there. I'm all for it. You know what?
Who needs Hawaii anyway?
It's first of all, how dare you be a place that's that far away? I think we should nuke it. F Hawaii. F Hawaii.
And they feel we colonized them anyway.
Huh?
They feel we colonized them. So, I mean, I don't know. Have it your way. Do you have the lady that you put on
I'm working up.
our
I'm
TikTok? Okay.
Working up. Oh,
Okay.
we'll get to her.
Not that my content reaches a lot of men because I have an IQ of 130, but I want the men in this country to know that half the female population, we're dry. We're probably gonna stay dry. I'm dry as a desert, baby, and I don't want it to change. Yeah, we're not gonna like you anymore. You understand that? Like, it doesn't matter if you take away abortion. Like, we'll want to have your babies even less, right? Even if you take away contraception, like, women are really good at celibacy because you guys are actually a threat to us. So we
I
have
would question her, but I can't. 130 IQ.
a lot less to gain from you. So, yeah, 4B all the way. Let's make some money.
What does 4B mean?
It's like the four no's. It's like it's
Four knows.
no dating, no marriage, no sex, and no kids.
Okay, let's get to this one. This is the mom. Then we'll get to the other one because you've got to go. Alice has to go.
Harris.
People. This is a woman literally telling her kids about the Harris's loss.
Harris did not win.
Who won?
Trump.
Her husband is in the background.
So
They're hyperventilating.
Take a breath.
Take a breath at the pussy.
So today may look a little different at school. Okay, there are probably going to be friends
Nazis.
who have questions, right? I'm sure your
you
teachers
imagine-
are going to.
Your mother, like, having this demeanor.
I'm.
Take a breath.
Yep.
And you can see her psycho eyes with her psycho glasses, looking. You know, you're not. The idea is generally
Things might look a little different at school today.
you don't want to see like your parent panic. Your job as the parent is to hide the panic.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
you hide the
today-
panic and you just and hide the fear and hide the anxiety and just do what Alice and I do is just day drink and
But
whatever.
friends, you can already tell because
You know,
friends is one of those words like
may-
kiddos that people use to be like gender neutral and not
Right.
scary. They'll say like I've heard teachers say like hello friends like
Ugh.
We look a little different at school. Okay, there are probably going
The
to
kids are
be
literally
friends who have questions,
Some of your friends will be missing.
right?
don't worry about the men
I'm
with
sure
machine
your
guns standing
teachers
all
are
around
going
the school.
to.
I understand that tomorrow everybody will be eating Justin from 3rd grade.
I think, we currently are in a country where we get to choose, right?
Currently,
And
she says.
people have different priorities, they have different values. Some people hear what he has to say and they don't believe him, and some people hear what he has to say and they believe him and they agree with him. So today's your school day is probably going to look pretty normal. Okay, your teachers are going to do a really great job of, if you have questions throughout the day or if you have big feelings throughout the day.
Do you like these?
Are you sad?
I'm very sad.
And now you're crying.
She's nodding her yes.
Are they still gonna even let girls go to school?
No, God no. What do you mean? You said it, now you're crying. There you go. Here's another one.
Looks like all the white women who voted for Trump are about to find out what Serena Joy went through when they cut off her little finger in The Handmaid's Tale. Because Trump's buddies are all over social media saying, hey, guess what? We are going to enact Project 2025.
They are really doing that, a lot of Republicans, which I appreciate. It's freaking hilarious.
Harris did not.
All right, so the
win.
greatest single person in the history of TikTok is... oh, wait, there's one more. I got to get to this girl first.
Okay.
I'm fucking feral today.
She's feral. Cute girl.
Feral!
She's barking and biting at the camera.
If you see me, keep walking. Do not make eye contact. Do not square up at me. Don't act like you know me. Like, I want to eat... Like, maybe they voted for Kamala, but, like, I want to eat them right now. Like, I want to take a bite out of those glutes in a bad way.
We approve of that. We're into her. Big time. Okay, where is she? Where's the greatest woman? There's another dude first, too. Let me just do this dude, too.
Okay.
I'm done crying. My sadness is over.
Yeah,
My
we're some
anger has
college.
set in. I am a very petty person, and I am very proud of that. Love it about myself, actually. And so I say this in the most disrespectful way possible. I don't care if you are my family. I don't care if you're my friend. I don't care if we've been friends our entire lives. You can literally go fuck yourself if you voted for Donald Trump. If you are so sad about your groceries being expensive, get a better fucking paying job. Do better in life. Get a fucking education. Do something. Because you are fucking stupid. And
Fantastic.
I hope you go jump off of a fucking bridge.
I love this
And then you
because
end it with a peace sign, by the way.
because there is some of this too where people on the left have decided that maybe the reason Kamala lost is they just didn't call America racist and terrible enough and didn't yell at people enough about what bad people they are, and maybe that's why they lost the election.
Right.
Which would be, I hope they double down on that
Which
strategy.
is exactly what Colbert and Kimmel did as well.
Yep.
Just tell you how stupid you're. Okay, so this lady is the political analyst. Political analyst, that's what we'll call this episode. This is...
How many master's degrees does she have?
I assume 17 or 18.
Okay, gotcha.
She has short hair and fun glasses. This lady is the best. She's probably around 60 years old. Who knows? 65. I don't know. Who knows? 46. I don't know. I'm always horrified that everybody's around my age. But yes, she is the greatest.
Okay, so
context. This is election day at around 5 p.m. Okay, so she is fully convinced. She knows Kamala's going to win, and she's about to throw shade, Alice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're closing in on almost 5 p.m. Eastern time, and I've been tracking everything that's been going on across the country today.
You know this political analyst tracks everything with, like, Windows XP and some slow-ass...
She just means she watched MSNBC and saw Steve Kornacki.
Exactly.
And Joy Reid talking
I used to get nervous a lot of times when one of my former bosses used to track stuff and show, like, had the screen that he'd swivel around and share with me, and I saw, like, how inefficient he'd go to Internet Explorer, and I'd get nervous and sweaty, and I'm like, Jesus, what are you doing?
And my most important encounter was when I went out to get my champagne. I was talking to the guy in the store, of course, asking him, did he vote? And he said he did early voting, and he asked me if I early voted. And he asked me, why I was getting the champagne. And I said, because I'm going to be toasting Madam President tonight. And he just looked at me with kind of like a smirk on his face. And I said, she's going to win this, right? And he says, oh, well, it's very, very close. And I said, no, it's not. He says, well, what do you mean? I said, no, it's not. The women of America are making their voices heard. Reproductive rights is what it all comes down to. And the women are voting in numbers relative to men that are unbelievable. She's won this. And I said to him, she's going to take every one of the swing states plus Iowa. And he said, oh, but the numbers are so close. I said, I'm a political analyst. I'm telling you right now, the numbers are there. She's taking this election. And then I said to him, you realize, and he didn't tell me who he voted for, but of course I knew. And I said, you do realize you wasted your vote, right? And I didn't care. And I walked out with my bottle of champagne and happily walked home.
Has anyone done a wellness check?
Bye-bye.
So, once again, by the way, I'm a political analyst, just so you know.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting how people think that they can buy intelligence and wisdom? You can't buy intelligence or wisdom.
Well, and it's also...
You can buy a way to facilitate knowledge to you. One of the many ways. Most of the ways are free, by the way.
Yeah, especially in this day and age.
Right.
But the other thing about this that's interesting is it's really not just her in terms of, like, the political consultant class, which she's not even, obviously. But, like, even the ones who are
she's
good
a political analyst, Al.
kind of have egg on their face because... And this is really... I think a lot of this dates to the Obama time, is that all these people decided that they were, like, really smart, and if you give them a bunch of money and do a bunch of big data and, like, oh yeah, our get out the vote efforts, and we've knocked these doors and we can ID the voters, and they were saying on MSNBC, like, oh, the Kamala campaign, they're telling people, if you haven't voted, like, we're gonna be calling you, we are gonna turn out the people, we have the numbers, all this stuff. Like, they really think that there's, like, tactical stuff you can do if you spend enough money and make enough phone calls and all these things, and it is getting so much less effective over time. And I think because of the success of Obama twice in a row, they kind of, and their success in 2020 with Biden, but they've kind of fooled themselves that, like, that you can, like, political tactics your way out of a bad candidate, or like these bigger vibes, or the economy, or all these things. And, like, the truth is you can't, like, ID enough voters and knock enough doors and send enough mailers and run enough political ads. And like in a lot of the postmortems, what comes through, I mean, these people blew $1 billion. First of all, never give money to candidates except local candidates.
Well,
right? Like,
yes.
don't, because local candidates are going to use it to like literally make yard signs and do flyers and like the
right.
things that they need to do. It takes some of the burden off them. But like the amount of money that was blown in the last year on this.
Yeah. I don't consider it blown. I'm so thrilled that it was spent.
Yeah. And so, and you can see it like in some of these postmortem articles. There's a good one. I think this was the New York Times one where they were talking about, do you remember the ads that were saying that Kamala's for they, them, and Trump's for you?
Yes.
And there was like some evidence that these were really effective. And apparently Bill Clinton was telling them, because Bill Clinton gets like vibes really well. And so does Obama, by the way. But apparently Bill Clinton was telling them, like, we have to answer this. You have to come out and say you're not for the transgender surgeries on illegal immigrants in prison. And, like, you're not for they, them. And, like, they couldn't. Apparently they made ads, but they tested so badly that they, like, didn't run them ever because they didn't know what to do with
Well, and also they're playing to each other.
Right.
I mean, everything they did is play to each other. And also, if you've got a baseball team that's 10 in 152, there's nothing you can do that's going to make up for the fact that that team blows.
Right. There's only so much you can do with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and this economy and what Joe Biden did and they all did to cover up the fact that Joe Biden was in mess.
So Biden-Harris blew. They sucked. They were 10 in 152. And Harris-Walz is fraudulent.
Right.
You've got jazz hand fancy pants hopping around, prancing around, and she's got no soul. So you're probably gonna have to switch Sally and James's roles. What do I mean? What do I mean? Yeah. So Alice has to bolt. I'll just get to a couple. I think that this woman is so fantastic. So fantastic. And by the way, I do think AOC is pregnant. She also came out
like point one main finger or articulate one primary reason as to why this happened, I think has lost the forest for the trees a little bit. There are a lot of different factors that have gone into this moment. I will get into some of them shortly. But to say that it's any one thing, it is an avalanche of different things. But we can get into some of it. I've gotten a lot of questions about the Democratic Party. I've got a lot of questions about women, about what this means, about Latinos, about...
Oh, Latinos. That's why you lose. Because you say it that way. That's why you lose. Because you say it that way. Latinos. Shut up, lady. She literally is Sandy Cortez. I don't even think she speaks Spanish. She's the bullshit rich white girl from Long Island. Do not believe any crap. God, they're such frauds. Anyway, and like Colbert, like I said, Kimmel cried. And the View is, of course, saying it that black men and Hispanic men are misogynists. Like, it's never that you suck. It's always because you can't suck because you have all the degrees, right? So you could never suck. My goodness. The thing is, though, that they do suck. And that's why this is so beautiful. Because they deserve this. They deserve to feel the pain that they feel, and screw. All right. Alice had to bolt. I'm going to do, I think that's it I had. Trump has said that Chief of Staff is going to be Susie Wiles. That's great. She did a great job. She certainly deserves the job. That is good. Biden said farewell today in a sense. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm more interested in how people are handling things, and a lot of people are handling. I must say, like on a personal level, then again, people may not emote to me, not since I know that I'm a fascist, so I'm garbage. So, personal level, I have not seen the psycho level, as bad as I thought we would. I definitely thought it would be worse, but it is still. It's out there that people, and I think it's generational as well. Like, I wouldn't know anybody. This day, Speaking of cars, I enjoyed your column today. Well, who's this? Oh, Mark Sardello's column. Okay, I'm going to get some of these things. Remember Trump on end all abortion platform? Me neither. In fact, I think he's the first European in 40 years not to run the national abortion ban. That's right. That was the abortion thing. Well, Reagan used to be pro-abortion or pro-choice. Yeah, it is child abuse. That's right. Oh, this is very interesting chat. Pretending being a liberal is a good way to have unenthusiastic missionary intercourse, but you need to cry at the end. That's great. I'm always in the friend zone, says Fatness. Believe me, dude. Believe me. I know. No, I know that I'm not in the friend zone now, obviously. I struck gold later in life. I was 37, and Alice thought I was a cool radio star because she was a geek into talk radio. So I was like, I didn't do it. This is a weird fluke. I can't tell you. Underground Abortion Railroad is the worst mass transit system you can imagine. Fatness says, it's the guys I can't land, but I'm open to options at this point. Splash What says, you can't land a guy. We're all dumb. Throw a rock at us, and you could probably bang 7 out of 10. Yeah, that is true. Just go to a bar. I mean, there are still bars, right? I used to go out to bars every night. My problem was when I was in my 20s is that I was a gulper. That's not what Timmy Canton is suggesting it is. But I would gulp drinks too fast, so I'd be bleep-faced. Like by midnight, my friend would pace himself, who's probably listening right now. And so by the time it's 1:30, yeah, you're not dealing with the cream of the crop at the bar, but you're dealing with the people who are looking to have a good time generally. And so that's what he would do. But there were some, and by the way, women do this too, but there are some, I guess it's bottom feeding, but then any woman who slept with that guy was bottom feeding too. No offense, Mike, you know what I mean. No, I don't want to say Mike. That's not really his name. The big thing going around on Facebook today is that young boys are going up to girls and saying, your body, my choice, and they're using a Nick Fuentes post to represent all Republicans. Learn to code? Right, that's exactly what that was. Abortion is the most important thing in a national election, something that's now a state's issue. You're dumb. But you're right. Well, we found out that, and I got this wrong, that abortion apparently isn't the most important thing. Hopefully she choked on that champagne and her cats are currently eating her rotten corpse. That's great. She is not. I'll give that lady, the political analyst, credit. She's been doing like live stream after live stream. If you go find her original video on TikTok, and I TikTok about it. Actually, I had a TikTok about it today that I put out that's got most views I've ever had. But you can see people have the link to who she is. She's been like live streaming, not sleeping for 48 hours now. So I give props to her for getting right back out there. Thanks, man. AOC is hot, but this Anna Paulina Luna effing smoke show in Florida, agreed. Absolutely. I think AOC is naturally kind of hotter, but I agreed in that. Remember Latinx? Yep. Luna is it was in the current Maxim, that's right. She's better than Lincoln. Better than what Lincoln? Who's Lincoln? Is there a hot politician named Lincoln? No, you know who's great is that woman in Maine, Reagan Ayn Rand or whatever her name is. Reagan Ann Ryan, I don't know. Who's Lincoln? Let me know. Is that Abe Lincoln? She's better than Lincoln. She deserves a spot on Rushmore. Who? A current. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. All right, let's get to the chat. Oh, my God. My brother is downstairs showing the kids Predator. And he's now asking if they want to see Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which means I assume it just went like it was a traumatizing event for them. I'm all fine with it, though. I absolutely would show it to him. It's certainly my 11-year-old, I think he's 11. He'd be all for it. Yeah, so he loves his uncle, and he's all for watching anything his uncle wants to say. We watched Die Hard last night, which I think is an important thing to watch. That's an education. There should be entire freaking courses on Die Hard. All right.
Hey Alice, how you doing? I really hope that in 3.5 years when JD Vance...
I'm sorry, Steve. She's not here, so I'm going to save this message. I don't know how to make not seen, but I'm going to remind me, or I'll remind you, Alice. Somebody remind somebody to have Alice back.
Hi, folks. No official word yet from my parent company um, or my company about the election. I anticipate it happening soon. They are probably looking to find a dry piece of paper because the liberal tears are flooding the office.
Oh my goodness!
And they need to something dry to write on before they can make a blanket edict to the company.
Right.
It's happened before, so as soon as anything like that comes in, you know what, Alice, I may even email it to you so that you can read it in your liberal voice, because I absolutely love that. I love how you do that. Also, there's one unintended consequence of this Trump victory, and that is that he's going to fulfill part of Kamala's campaign promises by creating more housing. And that will come because they're going to start reducing the size of government. And there's going to be a lot of homes available in the Virginia area. So if you're looking for a second home to maybe rent out as a Verbo or Airbnb, you might want to start looking now around the Washington, D.C., Virginia
That is
area.
great.
Arlington, Virginia. I think that could be a good future investment for you guys.
Here we go. Replica Shattuck is back.
It's been a while since I've left any messages here.
Hey, welcome back.
And admit I did a cleanse.
What?
I didn't listen for a long time.
No, come on. Don't cleanse Kirk or Blind Mike or Jerry or not us. God, we need all the attention and love we can get.
I probably, like a lot of people, like Daniel Day-Lewis said, and There Will Be Blood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just hate people.
I understand that.
You know, I just can't be around these people.
Yep.
And I need to take a cleanse. And oddly enough, I did a cleanse that consisted of listening to a true crime podcast, Sword and Scale, that was nothing but murder and horror. And it was better than listening to all these people in the last couple of years, this make-believe land that they want you to live in and stuff. That is why it's so effing good that it's over with.
Yeah.
I'm so effing happy that he won.
So am I.
We needed these losers out of here, these weirdos. Get, like you said, KJP, whatever her, that cauliflower head, get her the hell out. Get that Rachel Levine character, get him the hell out. Waltz, I need him out of my life. I need Harris out of my life.
Yep.
I only got a couple questions though. Are we still doing packing the court? Because are we still doing that? Because I'm good with it now.
Yeah, that's what they
wanted. You guys
wanted.
still want to end the filibuster because we still doing that?
Yes, of course we should.
Or is that just for your side? Because hey, we're here for it. Let's go.
Absolutely, Replica. We should reach across the aisle and do both of those things. Of course, in the name of unity, we want to unite the country. Let's do those things. Absolutely. Welcome back. Good to have you back. You were missed.
Hey, Tom and Alice. Mike and Groveland here.
Hey, Mike. Mike, hold on. Groveland. Mexican place about to open up right near the bridge down there. I walk past it sometimes. I've looked in yesterday or a couple of days ago and saw I think the bar is built as part of that sports bar. I am very excited about that because from where we are, that is the closest place to go have some fun. So let's go.
If I have one disappointment from Tuesday night, it's that we're not going to see Tim Walz anymore.
Yeah, well, depends on where you hang out. If you're in Minnesota, in how do I put this? I guarantee you, Tim Walz, he's a manly man, wears a lot of what's that called? What's that stuff? Those shirts from the 90s. You know what they are. They're not freaking. They're the lumberjack kind of shirts. I think you can find him somewhere. Probably likes a bar too, like the one that's in Groveland, but probably fewer windows. Mostly no windows. Probably. I'm just assuming.
If he doesn't decide to pursue a career as a showgirl,
I don't know. Hey,
Trump can find room for him somewhere.
Coach,
maybe cabinet, court jester,
mm-hmm.
coach, cabinet coach somebody up.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
that weirdo.
There's a lot of innuendo there. I don't know what you're getting at.
Just fascinating to watch. And we can't just let him slip away from the public eye like this. And second, the meltdown from the left is, epic, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I just can't stand the finger pointing that someone that voted for Donald Trump doesn't care about their daughters.
It's absurd.
The party that wants, men to use the women's room, men to play women's sports, saying, I don't care about my daughter. Yeah, okay, well, just continue that way and you'll never win another election again, which is fine by me. Anyways, guys, keep up the great work. Talk to you later.
Yeah, that's the party. Thank you, by the way. Nice talking to you. If you're for women or children, the progressive parties, the Democrats, are feeding you to the wolves, man. I don't know how often we're going to have to go through this before people realize that.
Hey guys, Paul in the car.
Hey Paul.
Fist bumps aplenty, high fives all around.
Here.
What a night. And really, it was 2 nights ago, but
yeah.
At this point.
No, I'm still enjoying it though. I'm still because the reckoning is still happening, like on MSNBC and parts of CNN as well. It's like I'm still enjoying it. We were drowning in it, and we did radio around it and some extra radio hours, etc. So now I've had a little bit of time to take a few steps back, and so I'm right there with you, Paul. I'm very much enjoying it. I'm enjoying. Man, these people on TikTok, oh, God bless them.
Fantastic. I didn't really foresee the landslide that we ended up with, but I guess it shouldn't be surprising after the fact. I guess I was just cautiously optimistic and highly nervous, as I've said over a couple of the messages, that you just don't know. I think I even read somewhere that at 11:55 there was several truckloads of ballots showing up in Philadelphia. I mean, who knows? I stayed up just about all night. I think I went to bed about 3:30 once I realized it was, in fact, and for certain, going to be, Trump victory. But I mean, just thank God. That's all I can say. Thank God. I don't know. Yeah. Even 2 days later, I still don't know what to say. Really,
I know.
Just other than
I
am beyond thrilled. That vote was for my kids. And I think most of the people I've talked to voted the same way.
So there's a guy at my karate class, not my karate, my kids go to karate, and there's a dude there who's got a son in karate. The son's a stand-up kid. He's just a very considerate guy, and the guy looks like a Trump supporter. He's like kind of rugged built, beard. He's got a huge pickup truck, like Carhartt's the whole deal. And the pickup truck has like very pro-Trump, like forget Joe and the Ho, very pro-Trump stuff. So I had a mark to somebody I'd talked to in case Trump ever won. And I swear today I saw him during karate speaking with a Bluetooth or like an AirPod to somebody, whatever. And the way he was smiling and talking, I guarantee you he was talking about the election. There's a certain kind of good mood that's unique to this election. And it's a certain kind of look and smirk and understanding, and it's freaking fantastic. And I was jealous. That's why I approached him at the end and said the election went pretty damn well, huh? Yeah, and you're like, oh, man, it's great.
My father-in-law has been a conservative his entire life until Trump. They're all the same, with these people that, and I'm not disrespecting my father-in-law, but I guess I am at the same time, but, they're all the same. These people that vote on the left, they can dish it, they can't take it, and they think that the rest of the world should feel the same way that they do. And, every counter you give them, they tend to buckle and agree with you. And, it's all you have to say is that this vote was for my kids, whether it's the foreign policy, the border, the economy, the gender craziness, whatever. It was all about, yes, of course, it was about you and I as adults and parents, but it was about the kids.
Well, but Paul, and I agree with that, and that's great. But it's also about fuck you bad behaving corrupt SOBs. Putting the justice system after this guy, going after border patrol people saying they strapped people. You know, the condescending, the calling people Neanderthals for not wanting to get the vaccine, the lying to us about the George Floyd thing, go out and party with George Floyd and then go right back into your basement. All the freaking attitudes, the stupid lawn signs. It's like there is a huge sentiment of like, fuck you guys. You deserve this. A lot of you guys were too. I was a DeSantis person, Alice and I, a year and a half ago. Then you decided to freaking spike the football in your corrupt, idiotic DAs and AGs all decided they were going to destroy Trump. And the feds to destroy Trump and find, he had secret documents about nuclear stuff in Mar-a-Lago and let's raid his place, F him. And they all scratched this itch they had to destroy him and take his companies away and put him in jail and have this psycho lie about being raped by him and all this stuff. And the fact that he kept it together and said, F you, and his fight thing is, that's why. Like, I don't even care what he does at this point. I don't even care what he does at this point. It was about you, about the corruption on the left and the establishment, about arrogant people with multiple degrees sticking that in our face. Fuck you. Feels good, and fuck you.
Because if we permitted Kamala to get in there and continue the craziness, I'm not sure what would happen other than it would just get worse and worse and worse. And my kids deserve to live in the same country that I grew up in, which was free of this garbage, this BS.
Yep.
Around any of the policies that the left has come up with over the last. I mean, I feel like they've gotten a lot crazier and a lot more disconnected. And I think the country told us that as American citizens. I think the country voted accordingly, and it couldn't be more glorious. What a day! What a week! Now we just got to keep Trump alive.
Yeah.
And not obviously not a joke, but we got to keep him alive.
Yeah.
Sorry for the long message. Not a lot to say. Thanks, guys.
Not a lot. Special occasion here, Paul. Appreciate it always.
I think one of the
I like to think, Justin, by the way, that you just took a huge bong hit, and that's why you were coughing.
greatest things about this Trump victory is that Doug Emhoff isn't going to be in the White House near it, because who really wants a piece of shit that smacks around women?
Yeah.
I sure as hell don't. Another great thing is she will go into the abyss and we will never have to hear the cackling.
I agree. She's gone forever.
Life is sweet.
Yeah. No, she's gone. Her political career is done. Walls is out of here. They're talentless, absolute and total shills. Absolutely. Do you want to pop back on?
Maybe I'll pop back.
All right, we're done with all. Well, there's just one message to play that was to you, Alice.
Oh, wow.
That we can play. How about that?
Okay.
Okay, Alice is back. Alice is back.
Let me gather myself.
She's gathering herself. You look good.
Thanks.
Pleasure. Yeah. Okay, so let me find that message.
Okay.
There we go. I think it was right over here. You ready?
I'm ready.
Is the camera back on you?
It's working.
Are you
on it.
clever today or no?
No, but you like this shirt on me.
Oh, do I?
I think so. One of the cameras is not
Yeah.
working apparently.
It's not? Oh, well.
Hey Alice, how you doing? I really hope that in 3.5 years when JD Vance runs for president, that you would consider not mentioning the polls as much as you have, because as you can see, once again, the polls were 100% wrong when it came to Trump.
They were.
And all of the data was just so false because fake CNN, fake MSNBC wanted people to believe that Kamala was going to win. Because if they would have went out and said that she had no shot, nobody was going to watch. Nobody was going to go to the polls and vote. And there are people out there.
So first of all, Steve, if what you're saying is true, and somehow they colluded with each other and said, or at least like nodded to each other and said, okay, let's skew.
Well, I think that's different from what happens. I think pollsters, when they're putting the numbers out there, they have an incentive to, they have an incentive to not be too far from anybody else, which is what I've talked about. I talk about polls a lot.
Somebody let James let the dog out. Sally, let the dog out, please. Please, thank you.
I talk about polls a lot because I like numbers and data and statistics and like the methodology, and I find it interesting. But I think in general, I mean, the pollsters have an incentive to try and be as right as they can, or at least not significantly wronger than everybody else. I don't think they collude necessarily. And actually, I talked about the statistics of how unlikely it is that they all got those numbers. I think that, like I said, I think that they adjust the sample for who they think is going to vote, but you don't know who's going to vote. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they think it's going to be X number of women, then they'll adjust their polling sample for that. If they think it's going to be this many baby boomers and this many Gen Xers and this many young people, they'll adjust their polling sample for that. And I think that, I think that's the biggest thing that leads them to get false results, really. And I think I actually said that typically the polls are all systematically off by a point or two in either direction. And that if that's the case, which it almost always is, they're never right on, that it was going to be a landslide for one of them or the other.
Right.
It's just a question of, and, I thought there was a possibility that maybe they were adjusting like too much for
But
Trump.
Steve, I got to say that, polls, like Zogby is done. Like a lot of these people are stars, and then they cough it up and then are done.
Well, did you?
And Seltzer is done.
Yeah, and actually, she was interviewed, and she said she was worried that she actually caused Kamala to lose because her poll freaked out Republicans, and so they all turned out in higher numbers.
Right.
And I mean that is the thing. So Trump gets turnout from people who don't normally vote because he's a massive celebrity.
Right.
And Obama got turnout from people who don't normally vote. And that's one reason he got wrecked in the midterms every single time. Now Republicans are sort of become the party of people who don't reliably vote. And it's all about whether they show up or not, right? And the pollsters, they can only model that. You don't know in advance if people are going to show up or not. You only know once you know if people show up or not, right? So that's the problem. And that's why the polls can never really be accurate. But it's still... I think it's an interesting exercise to ask people who they're going to vote for in a systematic, organized way and see if the number goes up or down over time, even though you know you will likely be off in some way or another. But did you see the Jon Stewart thing about the polls?
Yes. He said, blow me, pollsters. Yeah. He was very angry.
I mean, yeah. I think the Democrats are a lot more upset at this point.
But I can say this, like a good way to get people to show up, don't usually show up, is make them invested in a cliffhanger historical part of storytelling.
Right.
So, for instance, I think that much like with us, that you don't, all these people don't indict him, take his businesses away, give him mugshots, etc. I think that was round one of a permanent, activated, mobilized constituency for Trump. Add to that him getting shot in the ear and saying, fight, fight, fight. Most people, having been grazed by a headshot intended bullet, will call it a night, usually. And the amount of trauma involved in that, and knowing that the bullet passed through your ear and then blew somebody's head off behind you, like, that's big, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And this guy showed that he's extraordinary. He's an extraordinary human being. You know, you don't have to like the vodka or Trump University or whatever, but I'm not getting back up with fight, fight, fight. They are dealing with somebody. They're carrying me off while I'm in the fetal position, sobbing, if that happens to me. So, and I think that solidified it. And people just said, F that. I'm going to be part of, like, history here. And you've made him just too big, of course.
I don't believe anybody takes polls from a Trump supporter. And two, there are so many people that vote for Trump that would never acknowledge it to a pollster.
That's true.
And they went out on Tuesday and they dominated these polling places. They absolutely killed it at the ballot box. So
that's true. And the shy Trump voter, one, Trump voters by and large are working. And two, they don't trust the media. He's made the media, the fake news, part of 8 years worth of part of the story.
Right.
They know to yell at the press pool at events.
Mhm.
They know that the media is the enemy of the American people, which, by the way, I don't really have a problem with him saying that. I don't think that's reckless. I think a lot of times these people are the enemy of the American people.
Right.
I think it's time to rid yourself of the Nate Silvers of the world.
Well, he's
and
been good,
just
actually.
Focus on the.
I don't know where he ended up.
He ended up at almost exactly 50-50, but he essentially said, I don't believe that these polls are. He said, I think they're spiking polls that don't agree with the consensus, and they are, I think in his words, were that they're torturing the sample until they get something that's like what everybody else got, because their incentive, the thing is, if you do an Ann Seltzer and you get a result that's way off from what everybody else has and that you know is probably not right, and you publish it, then next time everybody's like, oh, that pollster is so inaccurate, you can't believe anything they say.
Totally.
Issues at hand, the policies, because that's what won it for Trump, not these bogus polls. So please, Alice, I know you love polls, but I think in 3.5 years, you're really, really going to cut that conversation to like 20% of what you guys do on this wonderful podcast. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about what I feel like talking about, and you can feel free to listen or not listen, Steve. It's a free country, but I like polls. I like numbers.
Alice,
and I like talking about them. I mean, it's not, well, I don't. It's not a negative. It's not a negative. If you don't like what I talk about, you don't have to listen.
No, I want him to listen because I still say good stuff. Steve, listen just for me.
I don't want to offend Steve if he doesn't like my stuff. He doesn't have to listen to it.
What a bitch! Is this an anti-Italian thing?
No, I am on record that I like Italian.
You and your Minifan buddies always hang out, and it just. Wow, Steve, I would. Alice is fired, as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoy listening, I'm not making anybody
you not
listen
scare
to
away
this.
the rest of the people, Alice.
They don't have to listen.
Yes, they do. I need them to listen.
It's not required.
Yes, it's required. It is required for you to listen. Don't go anywhere because this freaking psycho blonde is yelling at you. God, now you all know how it's like being married to her.
I don't know what's wrong with that. But anyway, I love all you guys. Have a great night.